Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
Is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 11th of August 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, today is a review, and then the topic that I would like to talk about is the yesterday's topic, but it's not about uh, the being famous. It's about self-esteem, which you share something with me yesterday, and then there's one more if we have time, which is talking about the AI robot girlfriend. Yeah, this is the actually it's, one of the topic I would like to make a review of in the last review session, but I didn't have time. All right, so these two is my topics. How about you?
Okay, the first topic I want to make a review is also the famous regarding the self-esteem.
Oh, okay.
And the second is something related to atomic habits. Uh,
Mm.
Technically, it's related to the habit tracker.
Oh, all right.
Okay, and the last one is about the meditation. Yeah, this is not the review. This is just uh, I saw something and I experienced something, and yeah, I could share
Yeah.
something new.
All right. I would like to hear that. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. So before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. So here we go. Okay. So because we have one topics in which is the same. So how about we talk about uh the self-esteem first?
And
Yeah. So so basically, what things are you going to talk about with regard to self-esteem? Is it something uh, 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 amendment or some additionals to yesterday's
uh,
one?
additional. It's not
Oh,
amendment.
okay. Yeah. So would you like to start first?
Yeah, okay. Okay, yesterday I talked about the famous
Mm,
and the relationship between famous and self-esteem.
yeah.
And I think I didn't make it very clear that uh why uh why why from the point of view of self-esteem we shouldn't pay too much attention on famous. Yeah. And
Mm,
okay, the key point here is not whether become famous or not. It's how your famous was formed or how you're going to form. So, okay, let me explain.
mm,
Mm, the key point is not whether become famous or not. So that means no matter you become famous or not famous, it doesn't
yeah.
matter. What
Mm,
matter is how your famous will form. Is formed by uh is formed by which type of self-esteem.
mm,
Yeah, and also or uh, how you going to form. So how you going to form the famous in which type of self-esteem. Mm.
yeah.
So in detail, okay, if your self-esteem is formed by the dependent self-esteem,
Mm,
then you are in this situation which is you are doing something to become famous. So you try to do something to become famous.
mm, yeah.
And if you are famous because of doing something, yeah, so there are some difference here, which is you are doing something to become famous versus you are famous because of doing something.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. And there's some difference here. Once is you try to do something, you try to find out the things uh that after you do, probably you'll become famous. So you
Mm,
go to do the thing. Another thing is you do the things because you like, because
mm,
you are passionate on it, And after you do the things, and the lucky comes to you, and many people like your work, so you
Yeah.
become famous. So this is the case that you are famous because of doing something.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in this case, you are actually um, you are actually in interdependence uh or unconditional self-esteem type of person in this case.
Mm.
Yeah. In your area. Okay. For example, let's say a YouTuber.
Yeah.
If the YouTuber are finding and making video that try to suit the audience needs and audience wants, this is what type. This is actually the dependence type.
Mm.
And if the YouTuber making try make the video that the YouTuber itself really want to make, really want to really want to do,
Mm.
and the message in the video, which is a message that the YouTuber really want to deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, the YouTuber wants wants more view, wants
Mm.
more like, wants more subscriptions. But in this case, uh, you can say at least the YouTuber is interdependent self-esteem type person in
Mm.
this area. Mm,
Yeah.
mm. And dependent self-esteem has okay, why we concerned about this self-esteem is because dependent self-esteem has no contribution to long-term happiness level. Okay.
Mm.
This is the thing I mentioned yesterday, but I
Yeah.
didn't mention clearly. Okay, yeah, of course, if you get the view, if you get a subscription, you feel happy. If you get a uh, big amount of money in short term,
Mm.
you also feel happy.
Yeah.
Okay, if your boss give you a appraisal, you also feel happy. Okay,
Mm.
but the key uh the key word here is long-term happiness level. So in the short term, your happiness level increase to search, and but in the long term, it didn't contribute to the base happiness level. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so this is a thing. And one thing we also uh, need to be clear that, yeah, even though for interdependence and unconditional self-esteem level, a self-esteem type of person, they
Mm.
also enjoy the subscription, they also enjoy the like, then they also enjoy the respect. Yeah, they also enjoy that. They also feel happy. Mm. They also feel happy. If some people thanks for their work, like
Mm.
that. But they are not fully, but they are not fully dependent on that. Their self-esteem is not dependent on that.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, so uh, from the self-esteem point of view, we can we can we can conclude that famous. If you get the famous by using like the uh you, okay, if you try to become famous
Mm.
because you want to increase the dependent self-esteem level,
Yeah.
and it doesn't contribute to your long-term happiness level.
Mm.
Yeah. So from the happiness point of view, there's it doesn't make sense for you to do that. Mm.
Yeah.
So if you focus on the dependent self-esteem, famous famous, yeah, may importance to you, but this famous is not contribute to your long-term happiness level. So if you step back and look at this famous thing, you shouldn't try to you shouldn't try to pursue the famous.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep.
Because if you try to pursue the famous, uh, this is similar to your pursue the self-esteem uh level. You try to increase the dependent self-esteem level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you doing your own things and then you become famous, yeah, so it's good.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. But is a famous matter? Not necessary in long
Mm.
term.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, we can conclude that whether famous or not, it doesn't matter. For a person who trying to pursue the long term happiness level.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. This is something like using the self esteem theory to theorize the famous whether we should try to pursue famous or not. Mm.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think for most of the people they also can get the same conclusion. Mm. They'll say, yeah, if I become famous, it's good. If I don't become famous, yeah, it doesn't matter. Mm.
Mm.
And of course, we all like to be famous. Hey, but for this kind of person, first thing that maybe they didn't taste uh, uh they didn't try the taste of the famous, so you couldn't say they know the implication of this self-esteem theory. Maybe just because they haven't tried that, and once
Mm.
they try that, mm, their focus will shift to the dependent self-esteem. They like the
Mm.
famous, they like the taste.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, but after you really understand the theory, yeah, even though the conclusion is the same, mm, uh, but your thought process is different.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to add in for
Mm.
this famous topic.
Yeah. 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 I think yeah, you really make the conclusion clearer. For me at least. And then yeah, today my review about self-esteem. Um, yeah. Also, I did come across something that the different type of self-esteem, like dependent and interdependent and unconditional. But basically, I found it in a different terms, which is in Wikipedia. They called it contingent and non-contingent, two type, and then actually they are the same thing. For contingent type, actually it is very similar to dependent type of self-esteem, and then it requires other people's approval. Yeah, and then it also mentioned that ones cannot get uh, uh, happiness from contingent type of self-esteem, because one uh, may not be able to get approval always from other people. So maybe in a short term, they could get some approval. People praise them, and then uh, these kind of things could happen. But after sometimes, maybe they also get some critics, and then they also fail to do something, and then at that time, the actually everything bounce back. The self-esteem actually will it is also not something fixed. It is fluctuated, will bounce
Mm.
back. Yeah. So this is also something I find, and then yeah. So today actually I uh, try to find how to improve our self-esteem, and then I get some techniques from a particular website, and yeah, I think maybe this may not be um, a, the best way to deal with self-esteem. Maybe something like we should accept it, but I think maybe this is something we can try to do it, because I think some of these tips they are not uh, from other people. Yeah, for example, let's go to my uh, the techniques. Okay, the first one is to um, speak to yourself in the same way you will speak to your mates. Yeah, for this one, I think for me, yes. I don't know whether you they will have a voice to yourself. You will something like to uh, it, you don't open your mouth to speak it, but it is something like you will say something to yourself, and you can feel like it seems like you talking to yourself. Yeah, in that case, uh, that website suggests that we don't speak something uh, very negative to ourselves. And how to judge this? It is like if one of your friend didn't perform well, or maybe did some silly things, and then if you are if that is your friend, and then you are not joking, you want to say something to him, and then if you won't say I believe that you won't say something like, oh, you silly, you so stupid. Yeah, something like that. And then so that when we speak to ourselves, we need to try uh, not to say the things that we wouldn't say to our friends. Yeah, so um, I think this could be a habit. If every time you did something wrong, and then you blame yourself, you say something bad to yourself. Uh, if it is a habit, every time you do that, I think that will also um, kind of depreciate our self-esteem. Yeah, so this is the first things we may need to be aware of. And then second is not to compare yourself to others. Yeah, for this one, it's not saying that we didn't need to do anything. Yeah, we didn't need to improve. No, for this one is focus on your own goals and achievements. Yeah, for this one, I think firstly we need to have our own goal, and then our own achievement, what we want to achieve, and then just focus on our own goal and not compare yourself to others. Yeah, and then number three is actually taking exercise. Yeah, for this one, also something that we can do and not dependent on uh, other people. Yeah, not depends on other people approvals. Yeah, I do exercise, and I actually can kind of gain self-confidence, and then uh, also I think the benefits of the video review a few days ago could be benefit ourselves in terms of self-esteem. Yep, and then next one is need to remind ourselves that there is no perfection. Nobody is perfect. Yeah, so in this case, we need to kind of accept uh, something that we fail to do, or some mistakes that we make. Yeah, no perfection. And the next one is to focus on what you can change. Yeah, I think this is also something we have talked about previously. I forgot in which topic. And then, yeah, for here it is also in the list. And then it even give uh, a more practical way we can do for this. It is to write down one thing you are unhappy with, and then give 3 ways you could change it. Yeah, so I think for this one, it is a very positive way to deal with something that you are not happy with. You want to make a change of. This way is a very uh, positive way. Yeah, because by doing this, we actually um, uh, more easily persuade ourselves to deal with it, instead of to avoid our maybe weaknesses. Yeah, it also provides a way to what we can do. Yeah, the actions we can do. Yep, and the next one is to celebrate small stuff. Yeah, for this one, yeah, firstly, I don't think this is something that effective and that useful, but I found that yeah, uh, in the reading session we have the things habit tracking, is it? Later you want to share about this, right? And then yeah, I found that this is also something related to this. It can be related. For example, you repeat doing a particular habit, and every time you do it, maybe you put a tick on the calendar, or uh, maybe you kind of record you have done these things, and then this is also a feeling of uh, uh, celebrated. Yeah, we do it. So for this one, celebrates small stuff. I think uh, habit tracking is one of the good way, because we do, we did it, and then that is something like uh, uh, an acknowledgement to ourselves, because we did it, and then uh, it will produce something positive to our self-esteem over time. Yeah. So yeah. Actually, there are 10, but I think some of it I skip it because I think they are not so suitable. So I only give 6 today. Yeah. So that's all for my sharing on this topic.
Mm. Okay, about the habit tracker, they want to make a review. Okay, in last reading sessions, I talk about we should try to relate our sight, relate our eyesight to the habit tracker. So instead of using like hearing, instead of using like the smelling or touching, this kind of sense, we use our eyes to see our records, and the effectiveness will be greater. Yeah. But after I think in deep, I found that almost all the tracker that we can use require us to see, because this is a record. So if you want to get known your records, the most easiest way for you is to see how many things, let's say how many things you have done, how many uh, how many
times?
days, yeah, how many times or how many days you have done. Yeah. So technically, habit tracker is we cannot say is all about, but it's almost about our eyes. Yeah. Of course, um, if you are blind, so you couldn't see, and you also can use a habit tracker. Maybe you use a touch. Let's say you have some equipment, so every time you have done something, so you punch on the, let's say you punch on okay, let's say it's a plastic. You punch on the plastic, so uh it's touchable, and then you can feel the touch every times you have dance, and then you punch the plastic card, so you know how many times you have done. But this is not that effective if you compare the touch and the eyes. Because for the touch, of course you use your touch, you use your hand to touch, let's say the paper card, and you can and you can feel that, wow, you have done many. But if I ask you to calculate, yeah, you couldn't calculate very easily.
Yeah.
Mm. But if you're using the eyes, you can do that. Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
And okay, but actually it doesn't matter. What matter is actually we need to know the concept. Yeah, the concept is still makes sense because our eyes have have a lot of the sensor have a lot of mm, the cell, so our eyes can receive much more information than other sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And how can we utilize it? Okay, the first is you try to make it visualize. So for example, instead of okay, let's say you are doing exercise and you want to
Mm.
record how many how many hours or how many minutes you have done for the
Yeah.
particular day. For each day,
Mm.
and you can choose to use your pen and pencil. You can choose to use your pencil and paper to write it down. Yeah, to write it down on the paper.
Mm.
But how you structure your writing? Are you trying to structure into a table style, or are you trying to just write like the journal?
Mm.
Yeah. So it matter. Yeah, it matter in terms of the visualization. If you're using the table, you are able to compare very easier. Yeah. So you can see, for example, day one I done 30 minutes, and day two I done 31 minutes, and day three I done 35 minutes. So you can see, you can compare.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for better methods, you can try to use some apps so that every time you record down into the apps, and then the apps will show you the visualized chart. So you can uh you not only can see the table, you also can see the chart. For example, it's a straight line chart, and from day one to day 30, you see the curve is up, is upwards. Yeah, is upward slope, and suddenly there's a downward slope, and you realize something. Oh, so maybe day 15 to day 17, I just
Mm.
did 10 minutes. Yeah, I just did 10 minutes uh, for day 15 and for days 15 to day 17. Now,
Mm.
so oh, in these 3 days, I just did 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
at least you can give yourself an awareness. But if you are trying to write it down into a paper by using like the journal style, you couldn't realize it very easily.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So the key point here is make it visualize, because our eyes is powerful. Our eyes receive a lot of uh, able to receive a lot of information.
Mm.
So make it visualize. And one another example is, for example, the paperclip strategy. You try
Yeah.
to replicate the paperclip strategy. So you take out two bottle, and you fill one paperclip into bottle one, and then you move the paperclip to bottle two.
Mm.
Yeah. And you have two options, and the first option is the bottle is black color, so that means you couldn't see inside.
Mm.
It's not transparent. You couldn't
Yeah.
see inside how many paper clip inside. And another is transparent,
Mm.
so you can see inside. So the paper so the bottle uh is uh is no color. Yeah.
Mm.
So for these two, option one and option two, do you think which one will be more effective?
Yeah, the one that we can see how much we
Yeah,
have done.
yeah, mm, yeah. So This is how we can utilize this implication, which is our eyes able to receive a lot of information. So make it visualize. So this paper clip, you change the bottle to a transparent one. It make it more visualized. So it make the habit tracker more effective. Yeah. And yeah, of course, it will be more easier for you to check. Yeah. So for example, you go back to the exercise example, because you're using an app, so you can see the line chart, and you don't need to calculate by using your calculator. If you are writing it on the paper, no matter it is a paper style or no matter it is a journal style. So it make it more easier. And also the last thing is put your tracker in a place that easily accessed. This also relate to our eyes, because it relate to the cue. It's relate to the cue. Yeah. And for example, you are right. If using paper and pen to write, and then try to put a thing near to the place that you will bypass after you doing exercise. So maybe it is it's outside of your bathroom, or maybe it is like your shoe record, your sport shoe record. So yeah, you try to find a place that. So every time you are going to do exercise or you come back, you can mark on your tracker, and you also can see your tracker. And you need to know that, let's say we are doing other things, and if we if we are busy on other things, it's not that effective for us. It's not that effective that to remind us, yeah, we have formed a good habits by looking the habit tracker. For example, uh, let's say we are busy at work, okay, and yeah, you can see your habit tracker of the exercise. But what can it help? Yeah, what the cue can help you? Nothing could help you. Yeah, it because you couldn't do exercise immediately. So you need to put the so you need to put the tracker, put your cue at the right place, at the right location, and also at the right times. Yeah, just like the implementation intentions concept, you not only need to tell which location you are going to do the behavior. You also need to tell what times, the exact time you need to do the behavior. So time and locations does matter. And one example in the Atomic Habit book is the author tried to do the push up. Yeah. But and he tried to use the habit stacking to stack the push up after he uh after he before he going out for his lunch at office. Yeah. But initially he failed to do that because there's no right times for him to do that. And also they didn't make it clear. So after that he amends the habit stacking, which is every at the news after he leave the desk, after he stand up from the chair, after he leave the desk. So he need to do 10 times push up before going out for lunch. Yeah. So yeah, and this this story actually tell us you need to find the right times to do your habits. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, and also one another things in the book is if if you try to form the habits at the inappropriate times, and you are less likely to form the habits. Mm. For example, in the morning, if you are rushed, so you shouldn't add the new habits. Let's say is reading book in the morning because in
Mm.
morning you already rush, so you don't have time to read the book. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mm, and this aligns what I say just now. Put your tracker in a place that easily access, and this
Mm.
easily access is in terms of the particular habit. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Yep.
that's all.
Yeah, I think yeah, this really a good idea because um just now when talking about location of putting the if we are using something like the sticky notes or we use a calendar, we try to mark or write something on calendar each day. And yeah, just now I thought maybe we can put the calendar on our working desk. Yeah, and then after that, I agree with you. If we put on, let's say, working desk, uh, that's right that we can see it always. But many of the time we can see it, but we can do nothing. We are doing our work. We are busy. Yeah, and then because these habit tracker, habit tracking, let's say is the calendar, is also like a cue, right? Serve as a cue. So if we see the cue and we didn't do it, and maybe after sometimes this cue isn't that effective
Mm,
anymore if you put it in a wrong location.
mm,
Yeah, so yeah, I think this is also something we need to uh, take into account.
mm. And
Yeah.
also on our smartphones, the apps on your smartphone is also a location.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So put the apps on maybe on the home screen, so you can see uh more easily. Yeah,
Mm.
more easy to access the apps.
Yeah.
Mm,
And actually, for this, I have one thing maybe to share with people who like to use it. Uh, that is an app that I discovered a few days ago. The name of the app is Au- Auto Open App. Auto Open App. Yeah, for this one is you can set a time, and then let's say you want to switch on a particular apps at 10 a.m. every day. You can set the time inside, and when it reach that particular time, the app will open automatically on your phone. Yeah, so maybe if you're recording your exercise on your phone, and also if you also have a fixed time to do exercise, maybe this app uh, can serve as a cue because it jump out on your phone screen and
mm,
you can see it, and then yeah, you would do it.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, you can continue the next review topic.
Okay. Yeah, the next one is just some sharing about the AI robot. Yep, and then wait a minute. Okay, yeah. This is a robot. And then her name is Sophia, and uh, she is she is the first robot uh, um, which get the citizen. Yeah. So theoretically people already treat it as one of the member in their country. Yeah, so for this robot, Sophia, she can walk like people, and she has more than 60 facial expression. Yeah, she can smile, uh, she can look like sad, happy, angry. Yeah, and then she also has some uh, basic capability. For example, she can draw, she can answer questions, she can chat with human. Yep, and then yeah, for this, I think this is quite a breakthrough because she is the first robot to obtain citizenship. Yeah, and then of course there are also quite a lot of criticism for this, for giving this robot the citizenship, and then there are also some problems like if somebody, maybe the owner, switch off the robot, yeah, could it be treated as kind of murder? Yeah, because you just end her life. And for this robot, she has a citizenship, so she can regard it as one of the member of the country. Yeah, so these are just some sharing.
Mm. Yeah. So that's all.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay. The last topic I want to make a review is about the meditation. And recently I watched a video, but I didn't watch it full. But um the video talking about the meditations, but it is talking about how our Chinese ancestor do the meditation.
Oh.
And this is and the book is written by a very very famous people, a famous person, which
Mm.
is in Chinese it's called Lu Dongbing.
Okay.
Yeah, have you heard it before?
Um, is it the one in the past or a recent still alive writer?
No, this is an Chinese ancestor.
Oh yeah, because I know a proverb like the dog bites
Yeah,
Bing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same person.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, because the book is written by using uh mm, the Wenyan Wen, which
Oh.
is the Chinese mm, uh, old writing style. Mm.
Mm.
And it is short, but it is very complicated to understand. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the YouTuber explained the book. Mm. And there are two techniques that I that I get known from that video
Mm.
to help us be better in meditations. Mm. Okay, the first one is when you are doing meditation, you don't close the eyes fully. So and also you don't open your eyes fully. So it's something like you squint, you swing,
Mm.
眯眼. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So you squint your eyes, and then you put your focus, you put your sight focus on on the top nose. Yeah, on the top nose. Because okay, if you try to squint, and then and then you can see there is a shadow of your front nose.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, so you try to put the focus on that. Yeah, and it is not easy to keep focus on that. So for beginner, what can you do? You try to focus the part, the center. You just need to try to focus on the center. So it's around the middle of the eyes, and also the nose. Yeah, is the part. So you don't need to focus on one point. You focus on one area.
Yeah.
And the reason is, yeah, if you open your eyes and you are very easily to get disturbed by the environment. And if you close your eyes when you are doing meditations, and you are more easily to fall asleep. And the thought will also disturb you.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we squint our eyes and focus on one point, and this is more easier for us to keep the focus. So our thought will be reduced, and we won't feel sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, and the second is about our breathe, our breathing. And this second technique is really effective. Yeah,
Okay.
and okay, and the first technique is also effective to me. Yeah. Okay, in the past, I'll have many thoughts, and when I doing meditations, I close my eyes fully, and the thought will keep disturbing me. But after I apply the first technique, and I seldom have the thought. And uh uh I'm more easy um to drag back my thoughts and focus on our on my breathing. And also a drawback to the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about the breathing, which is the second technique? Okay. This Chinese ancestor tell us our breathing is important, and our breathings need to have the rhythms, 节奏. And breathing is the most important thing in meditations. And in Chinese proverbs of Chinese vocab, there's one Chinese vocab is called the 调息. Yeah. And breathing in Chinese is 呼吸. Okay, and actually this 调息 is the second word of the C is not same as the breathing, the 呼吸. Yeah, it's not the same, right?
Yeah. The one is the rest, right?
Yeah, it's a rest. Yeah. Okay, but for the 调息, why we need to like adjust the breathing? Okay, why we need to adjust it? And the second one of the 调息 is you can see the structure is our self, plus our heart, right? Yeah. So this word is actually technically mentions about uh, uh, uh is technically already point out the main point of our breathing. Yeah. And then how we adjust our breathing. Yeah. And okay, and it's about our heart. Yeah. So it's very easy. It's about our heart, the self and heart. So it's about our heart. So the rhythms is also followed by our heart, our heartbeat.
Okay.
Yeah. And if your heartbeat is fast, and you'll be more difficult, you'll face more difficulty when you are doing meditations. And if your heartbeat is slow, you have less thought when you are doing meditation. And there's one one of the one of the explanations by this Chinese ancestor is uh, how many times uh, how how many times of the heartbeats means how many times you have the thought. So for example, in one day you have like
Mm.
let's say 100k heartbeat,
Yeah.
100k times heartbeat. So that means you have 100k thoughts. Mm, yeah. Uh, yeah. I don't know whether it's true or not. Mm. Okay, but how I integrate this theory
Mm.
into my meditation? Yeah, if I try to count my heartbeat and follow a certain rhythms when I'm breathing. So, for example, um, okay, initially when I doing meditation, I keep focus on my breathing. So, but but if okay, if you're experienced in doing meditation, and sometimes you feel that yeah, you're right, you focus on your breathings, but it seems like you keep controlling your breathing. Yeah, you breathe in the air and you breathe out the air, and
Mm.
the breathing is not smooth.
Yeah.
Do you have this kind of experience?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
yeah. And and sometimes and in the meditation, maybe initially you breathe very long.
Mm.
Yeah, the duration is long, but in the middle, your duration is short. Mm. So
Mm.
uh, do, I think you also will have this kind of experience, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Mm. And then and then the breathing is not smooth, and also when the breathing is short, you are more likely to have the thoughts in your mind. You are more difficult to focus. Yeah, this is my feelings. Mm. And how do I solve this? And I count my heartbeat. When you're doing meditations and when you are, let's say when you are sitting on chair, or mm, yeah, and when you like close your eyes
Mm.
and you try to feel your heartbeat. You try to feel heartbeat, and we actually can feel, and we don't need to put out we don't need to put our hands on our heart. We also can feel that. Yeah, if you couldn't feel that, and you also can put your hands on your heart, and then for a few seconds, and after sometimes, and after that few seconds,
Mm.
and you can aware your heart is beating. Mm. Then you just need to focus on your heartbeat. Yeah, of course, you don't need to uh put a lot of you don't need to put a lot of effort on awareing your heartbeat, and it's very easy. And you should put your focus in front of your in the middle of your eyes, or in or your or the, on your nose. Yeah. This is the first technique tell
Mm.
us.
Yeah.
And okay, the breathing. So after you realize your heartbeat, and then you can adjust your breathing to suit your heartbeat. For example, your heartbeat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And then
Mm.
you can breathe. For example, you breathe in the air, and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then yeah, and then you couldn't breathe in anymore. You couldn't breathe in any you couldn't breathe in more more oxygens, more air anymore. Okay,
Mm.
so you reverse, and then you breathe out the air, and then you
Yeah.
count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Yeah, so you follow a certain rhythms.
Mm.
Mm, and it will help you to 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 breathe more smooth. Mm, yeah, this is the technique what I found. Mm,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
So
very effective.
Yes, to find the rhythm, yeah, what is the rule that we need to follow? For example, is it something like the breath that we feel is comfortable? For
Yeah.
example, if you count from 1 to 10, maybe it's too long and you
Mm,
may not feel that comfortable, right?
mm, yeah.
Mm.
Find the rhythm that suit yourself. Mm. Maybe sometimes uh, initially you use 10 and you're comfortable, but after 1 or 2 minutes and 10 is no longer comfortable. Maybe 12 is comfortable, or maybe 8 is comfortable. So you just adjust.
Mm.
You can adjust it very quickly. Mm.
Yeah.
And uh the difference the difference between you don't follow the rhythms and you follow the rhythms,
Mm.
there's a huge difference from my personal experience. And because if you don't follow the rhythms, when you when your breath is not when your breathing is not smooth, and it will become less smooth. Yeah, it will become even worse over times. Yeah, it will keep
Mm.
worsening. If you and at that time, if you try to make it smooth, you try to control more your breathing, and it will actually make it worse. Mm,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah. And so normally what we do, we try to relax and we try to tell ourselves, yeah, just let it go, just let it go. But it need a lot of time. Yeah, it need to take sometimes. Mm. For example, like 1 minute, 2 minutes, or sometimes 3 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. Sometimes at the end of the meditation, you still haven't adjusted back.
Mm.
And then what if you follow the certain rhythms, which is you can adjust it within a second. Yeah, within not within seconds, within few seconds.
Mm.
You can very easily adjust it within a few seconds because you just following the rhythms. And at this time, you are not trying to control your breathings. Mm. And if you don't follow the rhythms and you try, and okay, is it for me? And I try to breathe in the air as
Yeah.
long as possible, and I try to breathe out the air as long as possible. And when I do that, I will feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
I'm not sure whether you also
Yes.
have this kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You try to lengthen your
Mm.
breathing, but actually it make it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, but if you try to follow the rhythms, okay, 10 is too long, so adjust it to 8, and then okay 8 uh for 8 heartbeat, and you already get used to it. Maybe you can increase to 9, increase to 10, and 10 is still not uncomfortable, reduce it back. Mm,
Mm.
so like this. Yeah. And actually it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to if you couldn't increase, because your heartbeat eventually will slow down. So that means your breathing will the duration of your breathing is actually increased, even though you follow the same frequency of the heartbeat.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Mm. Yeah, I would like to try it, but at the current moment, yeah, I don't know, I couldn't feel my heartbeat.
Yeah. At this kind of moment, uh, you couldn't because you are doing something. Mm. But when
Mm.
you are doing meditation, you can feel that. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else?
One more thing. The first tip, just now you said to squint our eyes, right? And
Mm.
uh, basically, if I try it, I found that because we have two eyes, and then actually, which eyes are you using to stare at the the, the, our nose?
Mm.
Because
You
I found that I couldn't find the middle. It need to be choose whether it's left or right.
Are you are you close one eye fully, or are you try to squint both of your eyes?
Both of it.
Yeah. And then what's the problem?
I found that it is not in the middle. I mean, it must be something like looking from the left or looking from the right. And if I use both of my eyes, it will have the something like the overlap of the image.
Are you means that one of the eyes will see things more clearer?
It will automatically switch to one side.
Automatically shift to once.
Basically, if I squint my eyes, I found that it's more likely that I'm using my left eyes to to look at my nose.
And if this is the case, if you try to use your right eye, try to shift the focus on the right eyes. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then how about your left eyes now?
What do you mean? I can only see one side. I couldn't do it at the same time.
You yeah. Where you focus on the nose?
The tip of the nose, right? The
Yeah.
mm,
鼻尖. Yeah, the tip
yeah.
of the nose. Mm. Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So
I
so
don't.
what
I
exactly
don't.
you see when you do that? The middle or the left or the right?
Okay. When you squint your eyes and
Mm.
you can see there is a shadow of your nose. Just focus on that shadow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got it. So
Mm.
it doesn't matter left or right. Just like put our focus on that enough, right?
Mm. Oh, you miss a shadow. The shadow of the nose sometimes on left, sometimes on right. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't matter. Mm. Just focus on the shadow.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversations. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocal mistake that we made, please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more about ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.